Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is the 16th of April. We're on page 45 of the magazine. And today's article is a deep dive into the sport of football.
我们的中文标题是足球界的跳水啊，跳水这个是要放在括号里面，因为这个地方这个 dive 在足球界呢，它不是指我们那个跳水那个跳水。
So we use a deep dive to talk about that you get really deeply involved in research of information. So you dive deep into the research. You really find every single last fact.
好，这个 deep dive 它本来可以用来指深入，非常深入的研究啊。那任何相关的事情，你都去研究、去处理了、去知道了、去探求呀。但在这里，它的意思是不太一样。
So I think there's a pun here. A deep dive in research means that you go deeply into the information and find the real facts that are maybe hidden to other people. But if you take a dive in football, it means that you deliberately cause a foul in order to not win a game. Or, you know what I mean? It's related to corruption and sport fixing.
好，所以这个 a deep dive 在这个如果你讲研究的话，你可以说就是非常深入的研究，那是一种 a deep dive。但我们这里讲这个 dive 呢，是这个足球的一种特别的犯规方式。那我们文章里面会解释什么叫做 dive。那其实基本上，其实 dive 这个字在运动界里面常常用来指假装跌倒要制造对方犯规。那在这里其实意思差不多。
So let's read the article. Football, also known as soccer in North America, is an exciting and action-packed sport loved by millions of fans around the world. But if there's one thing that most soccer fans don't love, it's seeing players take a dive, a highly unsportsmanlike practice which many see as a black eye on an otherwise beautiful game. What does it mean to take a dive? Diving is normally associated with jumping into a body of water from a diving board or a cliff, and there are plenty of common idioms associated with the word, e.g., the mayor's reputation took a dive after the scandal, the tech company's stocks took a dive after their deceptive practices came to light. In sports, however, taking a dive means to fall to the ground, often intentionally, and then pretend to be hurt or injured. While other sports might have the occasional instance, in football, diving has become so common and exaggerated as to invite ridicule. Instances of diving usually take place near the opposing team's net or penalty area. As an attacker gets close to a defending player, he will propel himself into the air, land in a dramatic fashion, and roll around on the field with a look of agony on his face. In most cases, the two players don't even make contact. But if the referee doesn't see the episode clearly, he will award the hurt player with a free kick. This is called drawing a foul, and it's such an ever-present part of the game that players are often trained by their coaches to attempt it whenever they get the chance. Should something be done about the silly, devious practice of diving in football? While some longtime observers actually defend its implementation, most fans would love to see it go the way of the dodo. And what does that mean, to go the way of the dodo? The dodo is extinct because of human beings, and they got extinct rather quickly. And that means, so to go the way of the dodo means to disappear.
Dodo 是一种大型的鸟类，那已经绝迹了，所以 go the way of the dodo 就是 go extinct 的意思，就是绝迹的意思。
So, football, also known in soccer, as soccer in North America, because North Americans already have another game called football, and they didn't want to call it European football, which would have made much more sense. So they call it soccer. Anyways, football is an exciting and action-packed sport. It really is. It's a fun game. And it's loved by millions of fans around the world. I think the World Cup of soccer causes more advertisement and TV viewing than any other event in history.
好，所以 football， 然后呢，童伟格告诉你 ，also known as 另外一个名称叫做 soccer， 那是在这个 North America。所以美国呢，在美国 football 是美式足球，也就是也不是橄榄球，这是美式足球啊。那这个soccer 呢，就是一般全世界风行的那种足球啊，欧洲那种足球啊。所以 football 他说它是个 exciting， 是很兴奋、很刺激的。然后呢，这个 action packed 就充满动作的意思，也就很激烈的，所以它是这种很刺激、很激烈的一种运动啊。然后呢 ，loved by 它是由谁所喜爱呢？有 millions of fans around the world， 全世界有数百万人啊，这个喜爱足球，所以这个世界杯足球赛观赏的人数啊，常常就是破历史新高等等的。
But if there's one thing that most soccer fans don't love, it's one thing that's really unpopular with the fans. It's seeing players take a dive. And this action is a highly unsportsmanlike practice, and which many see as a black eye on an otherwise beautiful game. So it's in all other respects, very beautiful game. But the diving is a black eye on it. If you put a black eye on something, it ruins its beauty. And it kind of does violence to the game as well. If you hit somebody and create a black eye, you're doing violence to them and you're making them look ugly for a while. Unsportsmanlike is a great word. If you have sportsmanship, it means you play the game fairly so that everyone can have a good time and so that the winning results mean something. It means that somebody really was just better than the other person. But if you cheat at a game, it's unsportsmanlike and it makes the winning and losing kind of meaningless. And the point of having a game is to find out who wins or loses. That's part of the drama. To make that part meaningless kind of ruins the whole game for everybody.
好，所以呢，这个地方讲到说啊，如果有一件事情是大多数的足球迷所不喜欢的事情啊 ，if there's one thing that most soccer fans don't love, it's 那这件事情就是 seeing 看到 players 这些足球员呢。Take a dive 这个是一个片语啊，那它放在 quotation marks 里面，就是告诉你说啊，这个跟一般的这个跳水意思不一样啊。那他这里先一个同位格告诉你，什么叫做足球员 take a dive？ 他说这是一个什么highly 是非常 unsportsmanlike， 就是没有这个运动精神的一种 practice 一种做法啊。因为运动精神其实是所有运动比赛最重要的一件事情啊。因为如果没有运动精神，你作弊这样子赢得的结果，那就一点意义都没有啊。那看这个运动，看你比赛也完全没有意义了。好，那 which 就是这种做法呢 ，many 就是 many people， 很多人 see 看这件事情 as 把它看成什么呢 ？see as a black eye， 好 ，black eye 就是一个黑眼圈，其实就是指在这里就是 something that cause people to think badly of the sports。好，它是一个 something that gives a bad reputation 的意思啊，所以大家认为这是怎么样？这是一个缺点，这是一个让大家觉得很讨厌的事情，一个让我们这个杂志上翻译是老鼠屎啊，这翻的也不错啊，那就是一个老鼠屎是什么东西老鼠屎呢 ？On an otherwise beautiful game， otherwise 就是如果没有这个 take a dive 这种事情的话，那么足球就是一个 beautiful game 好，那但是因为有了这个take a dive 这种事情，所以让足球没有那么美了。所以这个 otherwise 这种用法呢，在中文好像没有类似的句型，那大家可以特别注意一下英文这个 otherwise 的用法。
So what does it mean to take a dive?
那我们所谓的 take a dive 是什么意思呢？
Diving is normally associated with jumping into a body of water from a diving board or a cliff. Actually, I want to say that there's a difference between jumping and diving. Jumping is feet first, and diving is head first.
好，所以这个jumping 跟 diving 其实不太一样哈。这个 jumping 通常是 feet first 啊，那 dive 的话呢，通常是 head first， 所以这个跳水是有不同的跳法啊。那 jump 就是脚先下去。
And so with diving, this idea of going into a body of water head first, there are a lot of common idioms associated with the word. I want to point out that diving is more dangerous than jumping because head first you could, hit your head on something. And that's more dangerous than hitting your feet on something. And that's why we say take a dive as opposed to take a jump. So there's ways to use that this word is used with using this kind of dangerous connotation, like the mayor's reputation took a dive after the scandal. So after it turned out that everyone found out that the mayor stole a lot of money, his reputation obviously took a dive. It dropped very precipitously. And the tech company stocks took a dive after their deceptive practices came to life. And it's the same thing. Stocks are a measure of reputation. And so everyone's like, wow, we don't like this company anymore. And the stocks also dropped like a stone.
好，所以这地方讲到说 diving is normally 这个 associated with 就是 connected with diving 通常跟什么联想在一起呢？跟 jumping into a body of water 跳入这个水中a body of water 这个 body 在这里就是水域a large area of water such as a lake 等等的，所以就是跳到水中。不过这地方我们作者是用 jump， 因为他要换一个字他跟这个前面已经用了 diving 所以这要换一个字。但是就像 Angel 老师刚刚讲的，这个 jump 跟 dive 不太一样 ，jump 通常是脚先下去 ，dive 到头先下去好，所以这个所谓 diving 通常我们就想到这个跳水那从哪里跳呢 ？From a diving board 一个跳板或者是 cliff 一个悬崖上往下跳到水里面去。然后呢 there are plenty of 有很多的 common idioms 有很多的常见的一些惯用语 associated with the word 跟这个 dive 这个字有关系，或者 take a dive 有关系例如e.g. 例如这个mayor's 这个 mayor's reputation 这个市长的名声呢 took a dive 就是突然骤降暴跌的意思这个 dive 在这里就是a sudden fall 的意思，一个突然的骤降暴跌的意思所以Mayor 他的这个市长他的名声突然暴跌after the scandal 在一个丑闻曝光之后就大家知道这个市长不好他名声就突然往下掉暴跌，或者是这家科技公司它的股票 stocks took a dive 也是暴跌after their deceptive practices deceptive 就是这个骗人的制造假象的giving somebody a misleading impression 给一个骗人的 practices 一些做法，所以他们这个有一些手法，一些骗人的手法 came to light 就是我们所谓的曝光所以他们一些骗人的手法曝光之后，他们的股票也是一样突然暴跌。
In sports, however, taking a dive means to fall to the ground, often intentionally, and then, and here's the main point, pretend to be hurt or injured. And this is the part that really makes everyone kind of gnash their teeth.
Gnash 就是 G-N-A-S-H gnash their teeth 就叫咬牙这样子就很糟糕的或者是感觉很痛那种感觉然后呢，所以但他说在 in sports 在运动界呢，这个 taking a dive 意思就是 fall to the ground 跌倒often intentionally 通常是故意的跌倒intentionally 就是 deliberately D-E-L-I-B-E-R-A-T-E-L-Y deliberately D-E-L-I-B-E-R-A-T-E-L-Y 然后呢 and then pretend to be hurt or injured 然后假装是受伤的那这里what's the difference between hurt and injured?
Hurt just means you feel pain, and injured is there's like actual damage to the body, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you feel pain, there's also damage, so it's a very subtle difference.
Yeah. 那这个区别其实很细微这个 hurt 基本上是 cause pain 就是会让人感到痛那也可能是 injury 那 injured 的话呢，通常就是有 physical harm 就是有一些物理上的伤害那当然你如果是 injured 的话，你就一定会 hurt 所以这两个之间的区别不是那么大，但作者在这两个都用了，可能是音律的关系，也可能他很希望能够 thorough 就是你受伤了然后会痛这样子。
It's just a way of extending saying the thing. If you say pretend to be injured, the sentence goes by too fast.
Yeah, the rhythm is not
thorough enough. Yeah.
好，所以这个 Angel 老师也说，这个地方 hurt or injured 感觉起来是为了音律的关系，因为如果说你这里 pretend to be hurt 或者 pretend to be injured 好像这个句子突然之间就停的那种感觉所以后面再多一个字，把这个句子把它音节把它弄得更稳一点。那这个其实是非常高级的英文写作因为文法上面来讲，你直接写 pretend to be hurt 或者 pretend to be injured 也可以，但是呢，这个句子到这里念起来就感觉好像突然断掉那种感觉那这种感觉各位可以在自己的母语你读中文的时候，你有时候读到中文写得怪怪的时候，你会有那种感觉，就觉得这句子好像没有完，突然之间怎么句子没有了。
So in the next paragraph, we start by saying, while other sports might have the occasional instance, like every once in a while in another sport, someone might, do something like this, pretend to be hurt or injured to cause a thing. But it's not that common because people think it's really irritating. But in football, diving has become so common and exaggerated. Like they really go off when they do it. As to invite ridicule, like I don't know if you read British newspapers, but whenever they talk about sports, they're like grimacing wildly or whatever, they really call them out on it.
Yeah. 好，所以呢，这地方讲到说，这个虽然其他的运动呢 might 有可能会有 the occasional instance， 就是偶尔会发生这样的事情的意思啊。但是呢，在足球里面呢 ，diving 已经变得非常的 common， 很普遍，而且是 exaggerated， 而且他们在这个做这个 diving 的时候呢，非常的夸张啊。那 as to 夸张到什么程度呢？它夸张到 invite ridicule， 就它普遍跟夸张到什么程度呢？到它会 invite ridicule 哈 ，invite 在这里不是邀请 ，invite 在这里接近 provoke， provoke 就是招致或者引起什么样的结果或反应，这是 invite。所以在这里它太普遍了，太夸张了，所以就让大家或者引起了大家的 ridicule 就是 mockery 或者 derision。mockery 就是 mockery mockery， 那 derision 就 derision， 那这两个字的意思都是嘲笑的意思，所以大家觉得说，哎，你这太夸张了，你又在这个假装跌倒了，就在这里做假动作了
Instances of diving.Instances is a great word for you all to learn because the closest one would be to say cases, but case is too big. It means like an instant just means, an instance means one example of it. So examples of diving or instances of diving usually take place where? Near the opposing team's net or penalty area. And this is why it's done. This is part of why it's a strategic thing. If you dive near the net penalty area and the ref doesn't see that you did it on purpose, they have to let you have a free kick. And if you're near the net or penalty area, you have a good chance of getting it in and making a point for your team.
好，所以这里我们可以看到说呢，这个instances 就是例子of diving 就是这个 diving 的例子呢，可以在哪里看到呢？我们可以看到就是通常是 take place 发生在哪里发生？在这个靠近对手的球门the opposing team's net 就是对手的球门 ，opposing 就是敌对的，好，或者是可能在罚球区这 penalty area 在这个地方发生，因为这个地方因为已经到球门了，已经到罚球区了，那你如果说假设对方真的犯规的话，那你就可以有获得罚自由球的机会。
And so as an attacker gets close to a defending player, he will propel himself into the air. He will leap into the air, land in a dramatic fashion, and roll around the field with a look of agony on his face. Sort of really cartoonishly show that, oh, something has happened here.
好，所以这个地方他说呢 as an attacker 就是攻击方的球员呢 gets close 接近 a defending player 接近一个防守球员叫 defending player。他接近防守球员的时候呢，他会 propel himself propel 是推动推进的意思，所以感觉起来好像真的很努力的把自己怎么样推向空中propel himself into the air， 这样子才会有夸张，让大家看到说，你看我被他撞得飞到空中了。然后呢 land in a dramatic fashion， 它落地 land 在这里是动词落地呢是以很夸张的样子落地in a dramatic fashion。然后呢 roll around on the field， 在地上打滚with a look of agony， look 是表情，他打滚的时候表情呢是极度的痛苦， agony 就是 extreme suffering on his face， 脸上要装出极度痛苦的表情就是要告诉所有的人说我被他撞了，你看他犯规撞我飞到天空中掉到地上还受了伤了，好痛苦
In most cases, the two players don't even make contact because, of course, the defenders don't want to interrupt the attackers because they don't want them in that area to be able to call a foul and then have a free kick. So they're going to be really super careful at that time. So they didn't probably even run into each other when the attacking team will take a dive. But if the referee doesn't see the episode clearly, and it's really likely because the field is very big, he will award the so-called hurt player with a free kick. So note that hurt is in quotes. In English, we use quotes differently than in Chinese. In Chinese, you use quotes to emphasize a thing. In English, you use quotes to to say that somehow this is not true. So it's not actually a hurt player. It's a quote-unquote hurt player. They're pretending to be hurt, but they're not really hurt. So the point of the quotes is to show us that this thing may not be true.
好，所以英文的引号啊，有一种用法，就是它告诉你说这个字啊，可能不是真的像这个字所讲的，就事实可能不是这个字所讲的啊，或者是说这个字在这里有一种特别的用法。所谓特别，就是它不见得是真的表达它要表达的意思啊，不是它真的表达字面上的意思。好，所以我们看到说 in most cases 啊，在大多数的状况之下呢，这两个球员甚至于 don't even， 他们甚至于不会 make contact， 甚至于没有碰到，就是防守球员根本没碰到他啊。但是呢，如果这个裁判 doesn't see the episode， 没有看到这个事件，那他在用 episode 这个字也蛮好玩的，因为 episode 常常是我们在讲 show 啊，那个连续剧的时候，一个 episode 两个 episode， 所以感觉起来好像他在演戏那种感觉啊。那裁判如果没有看到他很清楚的看到他在演戏的话啊 ，doesn't see the episode clearly， doesn't see 这个 the event clearly， 那裁判就会 award 在这里不是奖赏的意思 ，award 在这里就是 to give officially 啊，就判定这个 hurt player 这个所谓受伤的球员呢，裁判会判定给他一个怎么样 award him with a free kick， 就是这个自由球，罚自由球。
And this is called drawing a foul. If you draw something, it's not like you're making a sketch of it. It means that you're able to attract it. And it's such an ever-present part of the game that players are often trained by their coaches to attempt it. It's actually just a strategic thing that teams do now, and they do it whenever they get the chance. And it really annoys fans because it's like it's unsportsmanlike. You're faking something in order to get an opportunity to do something so that you have a better chance of winning the game. And because you're doing it by faking, it feels like cheating. And because it feels like cheating, it's not sportsmanlike.
好，那这个被称为 a drawing a foul 啊 ，draw 在这里就是造成引起啊，所以这个叫做造成对方犯规。好，然后呢，这是一个 ever present 就经常出现的 part of the game 啊，经常出现到什么程度呢？到 players 球员常常被 trained， they are often trained by their coaches， 他们的教练常常训练他们干嘛呢 ？To attempt it， 要试着做出这样的一种犯规的这个引诱对方犯规的动作。啊，或者制造对方看犯规的动作 ，whenever they get the chance， 他们有机会啊就要做。也就是说，教练事实上都跟球员讲说，你如果有机会，你发现那个裁判呢的那个裁判所在的角度可能看不清楚发生什么事的话，那你就要试着 take a dive 啊，那造成对方的犯规，你就可以罚自由球。
Now, should something be done about the silly, devious practice of diving in football? Silly, of course, is stupid, but devious is a fancy way of saying tricky.
好，这个 devious 其实在这里可以翻成中文的阴险啊，就是不光明正大的啊。这个you're skillful in using underhand tactics 啊，用 underhand 就是不光明正大的这种手段啊。所以 should something be done about 什么？就是我们是不是应该做点什么事来改善这件事情，来处理这件事情呢？啊，什么事情 ？The silly 就是这个很愚蠢的 ，devious 很阴险的 practice of diving 就是。diving 这种跳水这种做法啊，在足球里面因为太普遍了，我们是不是该做什么呢？
So while some longtime observers actually defend its implementation, there are people who are like, yeah, it's okay to use this, to implement this. Most fans would love to see it go the way of the dodo. Most fans are like, ugh, this is such a crock of poo.
啊，所以他说啊，while 就是虽然呢有一些 long time observers 就是长期的观察者啊，他们事实上会 defend， 他们会辩护啊 ，its implementation 就是实施或者施行啊，它的动词是 implement， 看起来像名词，可是它是动词 implement，implement， 好 ，implement 就是施行啊 ，to put something into effect， 好，所以有一些长期的观察者，事实上他觉得这个无可厚非，这样做你如果做得很漂亮，那也是一种这个技术啊，但是大部分的这个球迷呢，很想看这种做法呢 go extinct 啊，因为这毕竟是一种不诚实的做法啊。那所以很多人看，就你这样子的话就没有意义了嘛，这个比赛就不公平了。
So we have some questions here for you. Number one is, in the opening paragraph, What does the writer identify as different about football in certain countries?
好，在首段第一段当中呢，作者认为某些国家的足球有什么不同呢？
The answer is D, the name used to describe it. It's not different in different countries. Only America calls it soccer. Everyone else calls it by its real name, football.
Yeah. 好，答案是 D， 用来描述它的名称啊。其实只有在美国称它为 soccer 哈，其他地方大概都知道 football。
And number 2, what is the overall purpose of the second paragraph?
第二段的主旨是什么呢？
The answer is C, to define the word dive and its relationship to the sport of soccer.
答案是 C 哈，为了定义插水啊这个词，也就是潜水这个跳水这个字啊，还有它跟足球运动的关系。
And number 3, which of the following is closest in meaning to the word exaggerated in paragraph 3?
下列何者最接近第三段中 exaggerated 的意思？
And the answer is D, theatrical, which is actually often used by the British press to describe diving.
啊，答案是 D, theatrical 哈。那这个事实上你可以把它翻成很夸张的意思，不一定要翻成戏剧化的，因为戏剧化的有时候在中文里面意思其实不清楚。dramatic 有时候你也可以翻成夸张的。
It's true. And number 4, how does the writer seem to feel about the practice of taking a dive in soccer?
好，作者似乎对于足球插水的这种做法有什么看法呢？
The author feels that A, it is bad for the sport and should be prohibited.
答案是 A 啊，他对运动这个足球这个运动是有害的，应该要被禁止。
So that is all there is to know today about the practice of diving in football. And pick up a British newspaper sometime and read about it. It's quite funny. And we'll see you next time for more.